Well, good evening and welcome to the Montgomery County Band Festival. It's exciting to have this again. I understand we don't know actually how long it's been since this has taken place, but we're really glad to be able to meet and have this festival take place. The way this evening's going to work is we'll start with a piece by each band. By the way, my name is Mr. Simpkins. I'm the band director here at North Montgomery. So our band will start first, and then we'll invite the Southmont Band to come and present a piece of their own. And then we'll follow that with a piece by the Crawfordsville Band. And then there'll be a brief moment of chaos. All the kids switch seats and everybody comes on stage, and we'll present three songs, three pieces by the combined bands. So our first selection tonight for the North Montgomery Band is called Critical Mass.
director at Southmont, and we're going to perform 3 Czech folk songs for you.
my name is John Tenby. I'm the director of bands at Crawfordsville High School. This is my first year, so I want to take a moment to introduce myself. Obviously, most of you might not have seen me before, but that's who I am. I'm super excited to be new in Montgomery County this year. I'm looking forward to continuing this Band Fest tradition as we go forward in the next few years. I'm glad we could bring it back, and I'm glad to be part of that. So thank you very much for being here. We're going to perform Mask by W. Francis Macbeth.
Well, that wasn't as chaotic as I thought it would be. Didn't they do a good job? Well, just a little bit about what happened today, just so parents, if your teenagers don't talk to you, you may not know what goes on when they're here. So we all got together this afternoon and we rehearsed for about 3 hours together as this band in front of you. And we worked on the music that you're going to hear tonight. And then took a little break, had some time together at a meal, and then changed and then came back and performed for you. So I wanted to let you know a couple of things, just random announcements. First of all, some of these kids, this is not their first time playing together. And you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, I can tell, that they played together before. A lot of them have. A good part of these students were a part of Montgomery County United Marching Band this past summer, which placed 12th place at State Fair. All right, let's hear it for that. We're really proud of that accomplishment. Also, gearing up for Montgomery County Winter Winds, which last year was the independent Class A state champions. So we're excited to follow that up this year. Winter Winds, come on. Who's going to do that? Everybody? Come on. All right? Yep. And then we had a call out last night, but if you missed it, you can still be a part of it. Talk to your band director. And then I wanted to let you know these same students are going to be performing together in the Crawfordsville Christmas Parade coming up in December. I think it's Sunday, December 5th at 2 o'clock. So that'll be exciting to see these kids out on the streets doing the parade. So one last announcement. Tonight, North Montgomery is having a fundraiser over at Dairy Queen, so if you'd like to get a treat afterwards, head on down. And a little portion of that comes back to the North Montgomery band. We appreciate that. But without further ado, I wanted to introduce our guest conductor, Montgomery County native, Southmont graduate, and also the director of bands at Purdue University. I'd like to welcome Professor Jay Gephart.
Good evening. The one thing that's missing on my bio, especially for this particular concert, is, it should say that I'm a native of Ladoga, Indiana, and I grew up in Montgomery County, and I'm a graduate of Southmont High School. When Southmont opened in 1971, I was in 5th grade. And, I remember the days of Ladoga High School, and Newmarket High School, and New Ross High School, and Waveland, and Linden, and all the other county schools when they got together in the sectional championship and their sectional basketball tournament in Crawfordsville and duked it out. I don't know if anybody in this room would remember those days, but those were some fun times. And then, of course, when the consolidations happened, not just in Montgomery County, but all over the nation, the high schools changed, and so did the communities. But growing up in the town of Ladoga was just a real blessing for me. And I talked to my high school friends from many years ago, and we talked about that very thing. We were at Southmont at the very beginnings of the music program there. Tabor Stamper was the first band director of Southmont High School, and he went on to be the CEO of Conn-Selmer Corporation, which is the largest instrument manufacturing company in the world. Terry Austin, who was another director at Southmont, went on to become the director of bands at Virginia Commonwealth University. There are other graduates from my era. Jay Hook has a PhD in music theory, teaches at Indiana University. Lisa Clonks Lane was a band director in Indianapolis. There were so many people from this county, from that program, and I know from Crawfordsville, North Montgomery. Mark Utzler is sitting in this room, and Mark is a good friend of Purdue bands, and I've known Mark and Therese for a long time. And, this particular area, this Montgomery County area, was just home to so much great music. And when Mark and I were talking tonight about the 1975 Montgomery County Music Festival that he and I both played in, a gentleman by the name of Ray Kramer from Indiana University was the guest conductor, and I told the kids today that experience playing in the Montgomery County Music Festival changed my life forever. I knew I wanted to be a band director, and so my career took me to a whole lot of different places. And as an Indiana University graduate, I never would have dreamed that I would spend 27 years of my life at Purdue. I gotta tell you that. But it's been great. I'm sure you understand that Purdue University is a very special place too. And the All-American Marching Band, that is the group I conduct, along with some other ensembles at Purdue, is truly one of the great college marching bands in the world. So when I was asked to come back here and do this festival, for the first time after many years, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of both Southmont High School and North Montgomery, it was a real pleasure for me to accept. So the students have worked hard this afternoon. We put together 3 pieces for you today. One of them is a brand new premiere of a march that was written specifically for Montgomery County United Bands. And the director of bands at Covington High School is the gentleman who wrote this piece. He's seated right back here. Would you please stand up and let us thank you for this? This is Kyle Thompson. Kyle. He wrote this piece especially for this band. So we're going to give it our best shot here. This is Kyle's March, and it is entitled Golden Lion March. as the percussion sets up for our next number, we're going to be playing 2 movements of Carnival of the Animals for you. And the second movement is going to feature the tuba section. And interestingly enough, I would tell you that one of the tubists from Southmont High School is back here playing on an instrument. It's called a con instrument. And the model number is the Con 4J. And I'm telling you this because I think I played that very tuba when I was at Southmont High School. And I'm dead serious about this. In the 1970s, I think that's the same tuba that I learned how to play tuba on when I was at Southmont. I had a very supportive mother. In fact, she was a single parent. My father died when I was 7 years old of pancreatic cancer. And my mom was committed to do whatever it took to help me pursue my dream as a musician. And so we went to concerts all the time. My first Indianapolis Symphony concert was not in Indianapolis, it was actually at DePauw University in Greencastle. When the orchestra traveled around, she took me to DePauw for this concert. And we drove to Indianapolis to Clues Hall for performances, and she let me go to things like the IU Summer Music Clinic and those kinds of things. But the remarkable thing about my mom is my junior and senior year in high school, she drove me every week from Ladoga to Indianapolis so I could take private lessons with the tubist in the Indianapolis Symphony. She was that committed to spending the money and driving me to do whatever it took to help me in my musical life. And I owe her such a debt of gratitude for that. But I also owe a debt of gratitude to all my classmates. My gosh, we had such an incredibly wonderful group of students who were part of the Southmont Band back in those days. And it was just a great place to experience music. But it wasn't just in the band. We had a lady by the name of Janet Campbell who was the choral director, the first choral director at Southmont. There was a gal by the name of Connie Meeks, I think, here in Montgomery County, who directed one of the choirs. And, this whole county had so many wonderful teachers. And so these young directors who are conducting these bands now, they're working very, very hard to make a difference in the lives of the students here and to make a difference, of course, in their musical lives, too. So I want to commend them for that. But the next tune we're going to play is actually a transcription, an orchestral transcription of 2 movements of Carnival of the Animals. And the second movement features the tubists, one playing My Tuba from 1976. so I can't see you out there, but I'm just going to cover my eyes here. How many of you, when you were youngsters, took things like piano lessons? Okay, and those of you who took piano lessons, how many of you just continued on and on and on and really learned to play the piano pretty well? I see one hand, two hands still up. Okay, so how many of you with your hands up, you can raise your hands again, how many of you quit taking piano lessons? Yeah, a lot of people did. And so here's the moral of my story. I've never talked to one musician who told me that they were glad they quit their instrument. Not one. You know, every time I talk to musicians, they say, you know, I wish my mother had never let me quit playing piano. You know, I wish I had kept working on that. I really wish I had those skills. And same thing with instrumental musicians. You know, at Purdue, we have a very unique situation where we don't have a big school of music like they have in Bloomington, or at DePauw University, or Indiana State, or any of those institutions. So we're teaching all non-majors at Purdue. All non-majors. So our department has about 1,200 students playing in 5 concert bands, 7 jazz ensembles, the All-American Marching Band, all sorts of different ensembles. But, you know, those students come in and they want to join a band at Purdue because their goal is to continue to play. And, you know, some of them make it 4 years, some of them don't. But I've not had a student tell me one time, you know, I'm so sick and tired of playing this trumpet, I can't wait to quit it. You know, they always have these regrets about having to stop playing. You know, these students have invested a lot of time in learning how to play their instrument, and you have invested a lot of money in enabling them to do that. So hold their feet to the fire. You know, hold them accountable. Make them practice. You know, and help them to practice. And encourage them to continue on while they're here in high school, because these are the last days that they're going to have the opportunity to play in groups like this with their peers at school. And so, you know, it's a very easy thing these days to just try something for a while and just not follow through, decide, I'm going to try something else. It's a very special student who's in the band who works and works and works and learns how to develop the skills to practice and to, you know, stick to something for a long period of time. You know, marching band's hard work, but sitting in a practice room and learning how to play your scales is even harder. And, but it's a great skill to have. So, you know, I just encourage you as parents, the administrators at these schools, to just keep music, and especially band music, alive in our schools here in Montgomery County. It meant a lot to me. It changed my life, and it can certainly do that for others too. We're going to close our program with a really interesting, fun piece that I think you're going to enjoy. It's by a composer by the name of James Swearingen. And the title of the piece is Flight of Valor. The first time I heard James Swearingen's music was in 1977 when Newcastle Chrysler High School played a piece called Exultation as their downfield at the Indiana State Fair. And I thought, what is that piece? We all were just taken by it, and we found out it was by this brand new composer by the name of James Swearingen. And here we are playing a Swearingen piece tonight. His music has withstood the test of time. So before we do this last number, I want to thank the high school band directors here in Montgomery County for inviting me to be here. And I want to thank you for coming to our concert tonight. I don't know if I have any former classmates out in the audience, but if you're out there, I'd love to see you, or any Southmont people. Any Ladoga folks in the audience today? Yes. Oh, all right, fantastic, fantastic. But anyway, enjoy our last piece, and thank you again for being here tonight. And thank you, kids, for an enjoyable day. That ends our program. If I thought about it, we would end with Hail Purdue. Thank you. Yeah, I know, my blood, I still have cream and crimson blood, but I work at Purdue, right? Okay, thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate that. I don't know if there are any other announcements that the conductors want to make. Okay, thank you. You're free to go. Let's give another big round of applause for these guys.